Hello you guys. So today I wanted to do a video about kind of my strategy going forward in winter. I also want to talk about my Christmas experience. I had a very estrogeny Christmas where I ate a lot of foods that are kind of forbidden on this thyroid journey. They're not like the most forbidden, but a lot of people forget that there's more to it than just PUFAs and seed oils and that kind of thing. And a lot of fruits do have a lot of estrogen or certain things like that. Certain foods do. So I was missing things like grapes. Like, I don't really eat grapes. Typically, they're pretty high in estrogen. Alcohol is definitely off limits. A lot of these things are just not a thing when you are doing this thyroid journey, especially if you have to be kind of strict. But for Christmas this year, because I had that experience where I accidentally had pancake batter when I went to IHOP, which I kind of mentioned, I accidentally ate gluten and stuff, and typically I don't have any, typically I have a really harsh reaction to eating that. And for some reason, I was actually okay this year. I definitely, felt it when I had the pancake batter in the omelet, which I wasn't expecting. I had no idea that IHOP did that. I was okay, though, which showed me that my hypo is getting better. I probably will be able to tolerate bread again in the future, which is really big. So when it came to this Christmas, I wanted to just eat a lot of estrogeny foods. So things like candy canes, for example. Peppermint is very anti-testosterone. I wanted to have, my mom made these sweet and sour meatballs where she puts a bunch of grape jelly in the mix. We had wine jello, which is where you make jello and you put a third of a cup of, or no, 3/4 a cup of wine, red wine, into the cherry jello. And then you put cherry pie filling in it. I just missed a lot of these things that I hadn't had. I wanted cream corn, I just wanted stuff that's a little bit less thyroid friendly for Christmas. So I wanted to go ham. I did. And it's very interesting because it showed me a lot of what was estrogen in the past and what was just pure hypo, having low thyroid, etc. And I really went ham. I ate a lot of candy canes. I had that wine jello. I had I had dates. Dates are very, very estrogeny. And I had a lot of dates. I went ham just because I knew that my liver's okay. It's pretty good at this point. I've been doing this diet for almost 2 years. And I knew that my liver could handle it and just get rid of it. And it has been. I still am kind of swollen. But I do want to talk about what happened. The next day after Christmas, I woke up very bloated, extremely bloated, and with a hot flash. So I felt like it was 100 degrees in my room, and it was literally, it was snowing outside. It was fucking cold. So, and I was very, very estrogeny. I had moon face. It was the whole shebang. As the day went on, though, it started to go down. So with me now, I've realized my liver and stuff is functioning pretty good. So when I don't eat estrogeny food or anything like that, my body immediately starts lowering it. And I was on the verge of a migraine. I felt nauseous. I was peeing constantly. And it was just really, really interesting to see the effects that estrogen used to have on me, because I used to eat like this all the time. And it definitely did affect my mood. Particularly, I wanted to trip out on my boyfriend, basically. So I do think, for a lot of us that, for me, I'm extremely feminine and I date men, but I think for women as well that are hetero, when you are super estrogenic, it does cause a tension between between you and the person you're attracted to, because it just puts you in a different mindset. It's very interesting. Very, very, it really showed me like, wow, like this is what I used to be like all the time. And obviously I didn't flip out or anything, because it's like, I already know this is hormonal. But in the past I would have, I would have flipped out. Like if this was 5 years ago or something like that, in my early 20s, I definitely would have just freaked and not even realized it. So it was kind of crazy to have that experience. And other than that, I do want to say that it's getting better. Obviously, it's going down. It's been a few days. I feel better. And now I feel like it's time to get back to basics. And not just basics, but I want to continue to lose weight in the winter. So another thing I needed to talk about in this update was just, I was starting to feel better. Right when we were getting towards the solstice, my hypo was actually feeling better. Like I was feeling less hypo-y. I was feeling like I was starting to recover. And this was even before the solstice. So I think it's much like I said, when you are not eating PUFA on a daily basis and you are being strict with that, you are always making progress, even when it feels like you're not. And I definitely was. I think I reached a point where I was doing better. I didn't have moon face, even though it was cold. Like I didn't have a lot of these symptoms, and I was just barely starting to get more energy right before the 21st. As the last time I talked to you guys, I was doing really bad. So it was already turning a corner. And I kind of hatched a plan for what to do this winter, just because I do want to continue to lose weight. I have gained weight over the fall, and I want to continue to lose weight in the winter. So I'm going to be doing stuff in a very, very strict fashion. Pretty much as strict as possible to really bolster the thyroid. So I kind of want to share my strategy with you guys. Obviously, you guys will see in the months to come if this worked. But first and foremost, we need some help. I myself, I am not on thyroid medication. I am doing this naturally. So Lisa is so sweet. She asked me, she wanted to get me a Christmas gift, and she asked me what she could get me. And she likes to give like more practical gifts, and I knew that, and I was like, she's the one that gave me the scale. I was like, I could really use herbs to help through the winter, because I know about what herbs to take. And so she said, okay. She said, just let me know which ones, and I'll get them for you. And I'm so thankful to her. So right when I started this journey, I took 3 major herbs. I actually took more when I first started, because when you are just beginning, you really gotta get yourself off the ground, And I started this in basically spring of 2021, like mid-March. And it's like, I really needed all this. I needed all the help I could get when I first started, because I was really starting from the bottom. I was very, very unhealthy back then. But at this point, it's just like, when you're trying to lose weight, it's kind of like extra credit. You know what I mean? Like it's going above and beyond just basic maintenance of health. And trying to do that in winter, it's tough. So thankfully, Lisa got me these 3 herbs again. I think they're probably one of the most important combinations, especially if you're doing this naturopathically. So the first one is what I'm always taking. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double the dose over winter. So, and again, remember, when I'm talking about winter, I'm talking about Northern Hemisphere. I'm talking about January, February, March, those 3 months. I put on a lot of weight last year during those months. I certainly don't want to put on weight, and I actually want to lose. Because if I lose, then I'll be in really good shape by next December, and I might be able to just not even have a blip like I've been having over the past few years. as we get towards the end of fall. It's really, really hard. So the first one is the stinging nettle root. So what this does is it actually lowers your, I need to see. I feel like there's, that's just the recording. Oh my God, I'm tripping. Sorry. Love that you guys saw my glasses. By the way, aren't we loving my 70s fashion today? Anyways, so this is stinging nettle root. Stinging nettle root is really, really good for lowering your estrogen. Especially in a man, it has something that really drastically lowers aromatase, which aromatase, it turns your testosterone into estrogen. So it's really, really good for lowering estrogen. And when you are on a hypothyroid journey, it's really important to lower it. You know, obviously as a woman, you would have fluctuations of estrogen, but most women have way too high of estrogen, period. However, women's bodies can handle more estrogen than men's bodies can. But, big but, many, many women are on birth control. So even though they can handle more, they're often getting much more. So it ends up being the same. You end up in the same hypo hellscape that us men do. So this is really good. And like I said, typically people use it as an antihistamine, but I have discussed this on my playlist before, but basically I'm taking it twice a day instead of once. So what is a complete non-negotiable for me in this thyroid journey is I take one of these a day at night, and I drink a cup of coffee in the morning. Those two things are like my absolute baseline of what I must do to even function on a daily basis. Otherwise, I start to go crazy after a few days without stinging nettle root. And that's because my estrogen starts to go up and just I start to feel crazy, basically. So that's like a non-negotiable. So what I'm doing over the winter is I'm doubling the dose, so taking it once in the morning and once at night. And that's going to have a huge effect because with your thyroid being weaker, it's better to lower the estrogen further to help balance it out. So, and luckily that's not all I'm having. Like if you layer things onto each other, you can have a really, really drastic effect. So the second thing I'm going to be taking is ashwagandha. Now, ashwagandha, you need to be taking KSM 66. It's really important. I am still going to be taking one a day, not two. They typically suggest you take two, but for price reasons and stuff and money-wise, I'm going to be taking one. I have an effect with just one, and I think it's better for me to stretch it out longer because I need these to last the whole winter at least. I can reassess, and I do suggest on your thyroid journey or weight loss journey or whatever journey, you should reflect, reassess, and adjust for each season. So like when we get to spring, I'm going to definitely rethink my strategy and what I'm going to do then because every season is a little different, especially when you're in the acute recovery phase, which I've been. So anyways, we're going into winter, right? So this is my strategy. So taking one of these a day, I'm going to take it throughout the whole winter. And it definitely helps. Ashwagandha, it raises your testosterone a bit. It raises your thyroid hormone a bit. And these herbs, they will interact with medication. So if you're taking medication, you need to really look into the interactions. Period. I'm not, though. I'm doing this full natty. So, the last thing that I'm going to take is pine pollen concentrate. So pine pollen is good because it is actually an exogenous testosterone. It's nothing drastic. It isn't like taking steroids. It doesn't affect your natural testosterone just because it's a low dose. Like I only take half of what's recommended. And it has a lot of other biocompounds that are really healthy. It's actually really good for your skin. It's really good for beauty. And it has a lot of nutrients in it. It's very, very healthy. But my biggest reason for taking it is to up the testosterone a bit, just a slight bit. It does help, especially with motivation. It will help with going to the gym, muscle recovery. It's very good in general, especially for men. But I would look into it as, for women, just try to do your research and see. But women do need some testosterone. Remember, it's very low. It is nothing drastic. And we live in a sea of estrogen with all of our chemicals and pollutions and plastics and all that stuff. So it's really about trying to even out the playing field. But that's what I'm going to be taking. I'm going to be taking these 3. I haven't taken this pine pollen since the very start of my journey, so I'm excited. I took them last night. I took ashwagandha and the pine pollen last night, and I felt a drastic difference this morning. The other 2 herbs I'm considering getting but haven't yet, but I may need to, is going to be schizandra extract and what's that last one? Oh my gosh, milk thistle. Because those 2 also lower estrogen. Milk thistle will lower your estrogen by stimulating the liver. And schizandra is a sort of like a fake estrogen that will combine with especially exogenous estrogen, so an estrogen in the environment. And it helps your body get rid of it. So I might take those. Also lowers your prolactin, which is very helpful. So I might be doing that as well. Those are 2 that are optional, but I think I will probably, if I don't do it now, I'll probably do a course of those in the spring. But this is what I'm doing herbs-wise. So remember, I'm going to be honest with you guys. There is definitely more at play. You need help. If you are morbidly obese, you absolutely need help to get out of this level of hypo. It's not going to just happen typically. I mean, if you just stayed off of PUFA and you were strong for a long time, it would work out in, 5 to 10 years. But realistically, nobody wants to suffer like that forever. So, and it's hard to adhere to it. When your hormones get really bad, it's hard. Adherence is difficult, which is also why I'm taking these, because they will boost my adherence, especially towards things like calorie counting in the gym and that kind of stuff. So what else am I going to do? Food-wise, I'm going to be very, very strict. So I'm going to try to go super strict over the winter, which means barely any starch, mostly focusing on fruit and sugar, that kind of thing. I'm going to try to be as organic as possible. That's really, really important if you can do it. And I'm also going to be focusing on red meat. I'm going to have a red meat winter. Red meat has lower amounts of PUFA in it, and it's just very good for your thyroid. It has a lot of minerals in it, nutrients, your iron, your zinc. It's very high in zinc. It's very high in a lot of different nutrients, and I'm going to have the fat from the beef and stuff, and just really focus on that, and as well as eggs. So I'm going to try to have at least 3 eggs a day, or try to, have 6 eggs every 2 days, something like that. Really get on a schedule. And then also try to incorporate organ meats like liver, for example, as much as possible. Not like binging on it every day, because you don't want to have too high of vitamin A. But I think it's really important for me to get my fat-soluble vitamins up. It's very helpful. And I just have to be really strict. Over the summer, I can eat like 5 million pounds of chicken, which I love chicken, but it is a little higher on the PUFA scale. And I really need to be strong right now, because in the winter, your thyroid is weaker, especially when it's snowing and, there's just all this other crap going on. It's tough. I do want to say I'm much less hypo than I was last winter. Like, I don't feel anywhere near as cold, which is amazing. So I've gotten so much better than a year ago. But like I said, I want to shoot for the stars. Like, I want to lose weight this winter, not just maintain, not just feel better, but actually continue to make progress. Because now that the solstice, the winter solstice has passed, it's going to just get easier and easier and easier to lose weight the longer the days get. And I want to take advantage of that and really make 2023 a good year for me, weight loss wise. Because remember, this isn't just the health journey anymore. This is also a weight loss journey at this point, which, remember, I took a year and a half to get to that point. So it's a slow process. People don't like to accept that, but it is slow, but steady. So that's my plans so far. I'm going to really focus on vitamin C. So I'm going to try to get a lot of vitamin C, so eat much more fruit than I typically do. I usually eat a lot of sugar and stuff realistically, but I'm going to try to really up my vitamin C intake and have red meat, eggs, organ meats, and do these herbs. And I think I will be able to do it, but I will let you guys know. I'm still going to take these herbs anyways. I'm going to do all this stuff regardless because it will help, but I will keep you guys posted. I should be getting back on the calorie counting by late January, so that's my plan, is really late January. I think I can get back to counting, but for now, I might actually go to the gym later, but maybe not. I'm going to take it in stride. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. And I'm happy that I'm doing much better than last winter so far. I will say that. But I will see you guys soon. Bye.